Yeah, what's good? It's your boy, WHISPY Woodz. In this video, you guys, we're gonna take a few looks at some things that have been going on within the community and also within my hunt and a few other things that I feel as though we should not necessarily clarify as debunks, but we should at least look into, a different way. So, for the first thing that I'm going to look up in this reply is for a few of the hunters out there who are questioning my theory upon the golf club and the whole point of having some type of sword battle and or killing the other opponent with a melee weapon. Now, throughout the video, I'm going to show a few things, but one thing that I will clear up is kind of my point behind why we shouldn't necessarily debunk certain things, because when we debunk them, we stop searching in a certain way. Now, this kind of goes into retrospect with one of Trippy Commentary's videos that he put up recently, and it had to do with the sacrifice between Michael and Trevor. Now, he tried this at the alturist camp. Now, in this video, I'm not going to try a sacrifice because I'm not going to cut my duality short. I'm not going to cut my possibilities. The fact that I possibly have not completed the game in the right way, I'm not going to cut that out of my entire path here. What I'm going to do is show a new outlook on what he possibly did wrong and possibly what we have not been looking at in the right way before, because I've gotten a lot, and I mean it, you guys, a lot of messages and a few different comments here and there about why it doesn't make sense for these two, Trevor and Michael, to hit each other with golf clubs or even a bat. And this goes into the fact that people think that it's impossible to do so. People think that you cannot hit the other character with a melee weapon, and yes, Trippy did bring some leeway to that thought, but I'm going to bring up a few things on why it possibly wasn't done in the right order. So, for the first thing I want to make note here is the fact that Michael can be seen leaving the golf course, okay? This is a natural thing within Michael's personality, to be seen leaving the golf course. Now, there's only one other character that is seen leaving the golf course, and that is Trevor. My biggest point, okay, to them being linked to golf in a certain way was the fact that Franklin is seen leaving the cannabis club, okay? Michael is seen leaving the movie theater, okay? And even Trevor is seen leaving the casino. These are character traits that they are projecting, okay, from even when we first turn on the game. Now, the biggest point to that is that they never really show Franklin leaving the fucking golf course, which is one of my leeways to understanding that Michael, okay, and Trevor are more accustomed to a melee weapon known as the club. One other thing that I want to bring to light here is that a lot of people do not believe into the karma theory, which is pretty sad because the game pretty much shoves it down your throat. Even as I was playing pretty recently, something very interesting happened, and I actually came across something very karma related, but the karma relations are to be seen only with a grain of salt until we can make the next connection. But the fact here is that karma is a factor.
What's your problem, you hip cock?
Yo! What the hell? You got shitty karma! Shitty karma!
He said, "You got shitty karma." The fucking guy in an alien suit tells Michael that you have shitty karma. And what's even more interesting, you guys, is that this specific playthrough is the playthrough that I'm being the most evil. This is the playthrough that I started my pre-walkthrough with all bad karma. They have been sending clues from the very beginning, even with small NPCs. Now, does this mean we need to listen to everything they say? No, but we need to segregate and rearrange certain things they say. Now, even after this fucking alien told me this, it was pretty interesting that the fucking security guards just started shooting into hell. You know.
To sacrifice Michael, so we're going to have a moment of silence as we hopefully end his life here at the alturist camp on top of the jetpack symbol. Let's see what happens.
I did notice a few things about this video that not many of you did, but the fact of the matter is that, you know, I want people to understand this isn't a debunk and this isn't hate towards another hunter. This is for other outlooks to actually combine so that we can actually understand what we're looking at, okay? Whereas Trippy is gaining one understanding, I can actually feed off of his understanding so that we can gain a stronger mentality to what we're doing within the mystery. When he did this experiment, it only gave us stronger information into either what we should or should not do. Now, one thing I feel as though he made a mistake in is that he hung out with Michael as Trevor. I don't think hanging out with the other character is going to help afflicting damage and or pain onto the other character. I don't think it's necessarily possible that way. And that's one of the things I noticed. Another thing that I noticed is that they weren't necessarily in the right position. Now, when I say position, I really want people to understand that this answer will come into a later video because it takes a bit too much for people to understand in just one sitting, okay? This takes a few things to show for people to understand what I mean by position. To inflict pain onto the other player and or character with a melee weapon takes a certain position, and it takes a certain amount of patience and specific accuracy. Now, even given with this accuracy, I want people to understand, when I made my video about the fucking club being related to the club of Cain and Abel and them actually having to use it upon each other, I got a lot of hate because of it. But I want people to understand something. That hate is only given through ignorance and your willingness to debunk something, whereas you're not looking at it from a positive outlook. Me looking at Trippy's outlook as positively as I can, I actually gained a few more things and kept the theory as strong as I can. And for those of you who hated on me that fucking day that I made the video telling me, dude, it's impossible to hit another character with the club. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Well, I get really sick of proving a lot of you haters wrong, but, you know, I guess it's just what I'm here to do. Just like you're here to hate. It is what it is. It's our position in life. So once again, to make myself a little bit clearer, I want all of the haters to understand what the fuck I'm saying here. Your instinct is to debunk shit. My instinct is to show possibilities. Keep going, because I will keep going. And it doesn't fucking matter how strong you think you are, because I'm just as strong. For those of you who said it's impossible, okay, impossible to hit another character with a melee weapon who sat there and ranted on to me about how it's impossible, this is how I feel about impossible. So, I want you to understand what the fuck I'm talking about. Just because it's easy to tell somebody, you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about, there's no fucking jetpack, blah, 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 blah. Just because it's easy to do that doesn't make you fucking smart. Period. Maybe if you took half of the effort that you took in hating on somebody for trying to make something as great as this mystery, as interesting as it deserves to be, maybe if you took that little bit of energy to actually solving something, we would all be a little bit closer to actually figuring this shit out. Maybe you should stop hating and start believing in shit. But the true jetpack hunters, true ones, I know you know out there. I just want this shit to be clear to everyone that for us to debunk shit stops our process. It stops our thought. It makes us fucking think, you know, no point. But there's always a point. There's always a fucking point, guys. And that's what I'm here to show. This shit is not for no fucking reason. So one more thing before I end this video is my reply to Woodz' recent string of videos. Now, really, I applaud Woodz, and I feel as though all of you should go check out his new Jetpack Hunter series, his new Easter egg hunter series, because the fact of the matter is that he's actually broadening his horizons, and that was the whole point here, was to think about deeper things than just a fucking jetpack. He's actually searching for more things, and I applaud this series. For those of you who haven't checked it out, go check it out. But what we're here to talk about here is his theory about this man. He says, and, you know, to lack of information from the actual community, you know, a big majority of people feel as though this man is the leader of the alturist camp. Now, I feel as though we haven't grounded a lot of, you know, conclusive information on this character. We don't even have a name, let alone any actual stature within the alturist camp to say that there is a leader. All we know is that he stands on the edge of a cliff. And, you know, we are putting physicalities to those thought processes, instead of actually looking deeper into why the game is the game, and why these characters are where they are, and one more reason to why this character possibly is misunderstood as the leader. Now, once again, I say misunderstood because I'm not debunking here, and I'm not saying he's not the leader. What I'm saying is maybe we looked at this the wrong way, and I'm going to show some proof as to why he could possibly just be another NPC in the alturist camp. So what we're doing here now is an experiment. Within Woodz' video, he showed himself shoot the supposed leader, okay, at the edge of this building back here. Now what he did was is snipe him from here to here. And once he did that, the characters within the alturist camp all started running up here. Now what I did in my experiment was purely to test his theory and to test to see if these characters would go all the way up here. Okay, so realize I wasn't debunking, I was just trying to see where his theory led. Now within this experiment, I actually noticed something very interesting about this supposed leader that I feel as though shows that he is possibly just another NPC randomly put into the alturist camp like all of the others. And I feel as though there's a lot of evidence toward this once I started shooting around. But let me show you. Here's the first one. and there's number 2, and there's number 3, and number 4, number 5, number 6. The point here, you guys, is that I could do this shit all day, and he will show up as a different fucking character, whether bald, whether with hair, whether completely naked, whether with a shirt. The point is that I wouldn't necessarily think that he is the leader based upon the fact that his NPC is not important at all. And I would just have to think if they were going to implement a character, they wouldn't randomly have him switch different NPCs. Once again, not debunking, just showing a new view. Spread the truth.